Last 4 years, it's all been e-commerce, and I've worked with different technologies like ATG, Hybris. Hybris, I've been there for the past 3 years, and I've done 3 implementation in Hybris, for one for B2C and two for B2B clients. So what we will do in this demo is I will give you a brief overview of what Hybris is all about, how can Hybris be customized, and what are the overall features of Hybris, and it's all going to be a more technical discussion. You all can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So let's start. So when we say Hybris, what Hybris is actually Hybris? What actually it is? So Hybris is basically an e-commerce product which is used to build B2B and B2C sites. Now when we say B2B and B2C sites, it's all about the way these sites behave. B2B is business to business and B2C is business to customer. So B2C examples are your like Flipkart, Jabong, Snapdeal, something which sells to your end customer. And when we say B2B, B2B is a business specific application which is used by specific users, and it's not like for the end user. Only specific users will have access to the application. They will place bulk orders, and then some of the features which B2C has, B2B will not have, and then vice versa. So like example, B2C will be more, you will see more thing on personalization. You will have payment gateways integrated in B2C, and B2B will not have any payment gateway integration. There will be hardly any personalization requirements in B2B. And then, but B2B will have some additional functionalities like code negotiation, bulk order, and all those things, right? So basically, to build B2B and B2C application. But the latest version of Hybris, which is Hybris 5.7, they have also added support for financial systems. So what Hybris is ultimately telling is you can even host a financial site selling credit card and loan products using Hybris as a platform. But then again, that is pretty new. I don't think any financial client has yet adopted Hybris. But B2B and B2C, there are a lot of examples. If anybody has any question, just ping me in between itself so that we can clarify it. Let's move.
Nitin, is it okay if I can ask a query on this? This is Prasad.
Sure. Yeah, Prasad.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also from e-commerce background. I have worked in both system integration as well as e-commerce products like Demandware, ATG, actually. So one thing I wanted to know, like, it might be a very hypothetical question probably, but I feel that I need to ask. Given a e-commerce solution to be developed, let's say for a e-commerce client. So if I say I'm going to provide Hybris as the platform for the e-commerce, and if my e-commerce vendor asks me, why do you think Hybris should be used? Is there any strong reasons from Hybris?
Yeah, there are a lot of strong reasons. So I have not worked on Demandware. I know a little bit about WCS. I have worked a lot on ATG as well, and I know about Venda as well. But if you see Hybris, the actual power of Hybris comes with the usage of accelerators. And then even if you see something like ATG or WCS, they have their own proprietary tag libs and they have their own proprietary technologies. Hybris is totally based upon Spring. So from a development perspective, if I act as a developer, it becomes much more easier to learn Hybris rather than any other platform. Your go-to market time is highly reduced when you use Hybris. And that is my personal experience because I've worked on an ATG project as well, and I have seen the challenges over there.
Okay. That was a pretty confidence thing actually. And just a small query to end my main query. Does SAP tells like if your transaction is in between this range to this range, then only I think Hybris might be suited. Like for example, if I am building a e-commerce site to clients like Gucci, or anyone who expect low transaction but they have a premium value to their products, it doesn't make sense to use Hybris. Is that a way to look at it?
Yeah, that's a very fair question, and yes, you are right. If my product domain model is very simple, I do not have many more products, my budget is also less, then I should not be using Hybris. Instead, I'll go with cheaper ones like Magenta or maybe Demandware vendor. Then, the real advantage of Hybris comes using enterprise suite. So, if you have a really complex system, lots of product, you need performance as well. So then you should actually use Hybris.
Okay, thank you, Nitin.
Yeah, because again you are using Hybris to support a small set of products, and then again, the cost does not justify it, correct? So at the end of the day, the return on investment should be also coinciding with it, correct? Shall we go ahead?
Yeah, I don't have any more questions, Nitin.
Yeah, sure. If anybody has, just interrupt me and then we can go ahead with the clarification. So moving ahead, when Hybris at present is purchased by SAP, so that's been 2 years SAP has purchased Hybris. And then when you install Hybris, what do you get? So let's say I go to wiki.hybris.com, which is the main site for all the developers. What do I get? What we get is a Hybris platform. And there is a most important thing to remember, like when you actually get Hybris, you are not getting any ready to build in site. You only get a platform. And what is a platform? Platform is a set of extensions. And when we say extension, there are many more extensions in the platform. So I'll just show you what you get when you install Hybris. So this is my workspace directory where I have set up Hybris. In bin, if you go, you'll find several folders, but the most important folder is the platform. This is where the entire library of Hybris is, and entire services which Hybris provides you out of the box, like the card service, the product service. You also have a session service. There is a flexible search service. Like this, there are n number of examples, but this is the main extension which you get when you install Hybris from SAP or from Wiki. Let's look into more things like where on what concepts, what technical concepts Hybris is based upon. It's based on ORM framework. Does anybody understand what is an ORM framework? Anybody who has worked on Hibernate will be very much able to relate what is an ORM. ORM is basically your object relationship model. When we say object relationship model, what Hybris says, you do not deal with database directly. Instead, I will provide you an abstract from the database in the form of POJO classes. So you deal only with POJO classes in Hybris, also called as types. This we will see when we discuss more on the data modeling. But in Hybris, everything is a type, which means everything is a POJO class. You don't deal with database tables directly. You only hit the type and you get whatever you want from Hybris. Okay. Build framework. The build framework used by Hybris is AND. So if you go to platform, you will see the AND version. Currently in my machine, I have installed Hybris 5.5.1. You will see the AND version which it is supporting is 1.9.1. So the entire build framework of Hybris is based upon AND. There are some specific targets which Hybris provides. Out of the box, you do not have to do anything like AND all. AND all will build from your last build. It will build each and everything. There is also a target called AND clean all. AND clean all is basically you are deleting all the existing class file and then you are creating fresh ones. Right? And AND does a lot of things in Hybris. What AND will do, it will read your entire configuration. It will read all your XML file, all your property file, and then prepare one single ER for you. Okay, this again we will discuss more in detail when we generate the accelerator out of Hybris. Another important thing to note in mind is Hybris server. Now, Hybris, when we install Hybris, it automatically provides an out-of-the-box server which is built on Apache Tomcat. But it's still not Apache Tomcat, it's Hybris server. Hybris has added its own library on top of Apache Tomcat, and they have built a fresh server called as the Hybris server. So when you actually install Hybris, you get the Hybris server along with you. And this is production tested, it's tested several times by several clients, there are no bugs in it. So always use Hybris server for your clients. Now again, when I say Hybris server, we have to use it, does not mean that there is no support for WebLogic or WebSphere. Of course, you can go ahead and use WebLogic and WebSphere. But if you are using this server, you have to do additional configuration. So some kind of development activities you will have to do if you are using this server. But if you are using the Hybris server, no development, nothing. Everything will come out of the box for you, right? Database support. When you install Hybris on your local machine, the local database that gets automatically available to you is HSQL, right? It's called as Hybrid SQL. This is one user, one connection. So it's best suited for your development environments. But when you are migrating to a production or a queue environment or a stage environment, you basically need a much more better server which can handle many more connections. So Hybris provides support to SQL server is there, Oracle is there, DB2 is there. After the purchase of SAP, there is support for HANA as well, SAP HANA. And in fact, you can even use MongoDB. But as a developer, when you are using Hybris for your development purpose, do not use a centralized server. So don't make a configuration like 5 developers are there, they'll go and hit one centralized server. Use a local copy, which is this HSQL. Why? Because your development time will increase. If my database server will go down, and if everybody is using a single database server, then everybody's bandwidth will go away. So it's always advisable to use your local copy of the server, which is the HSQL, and it's provided out of the box by the Hybris. No configuration, nothing. Am I making sense? It's clear to everybody?
Yeah, Nitin, one thing with respect to the variety of repositories. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database. So
yes.
Does Hybris provides out of the box any connectors or adapters for NoSQL, or is it is what something we tell to Hybris that I'm using NoSQL? So the way I read the files, the documents from the NoSQL is different. Which one is right? Actually?
Yeah, so that's a good question. See, if you are using something like a SQL Server or Oracle or DB2, then you have to make some additional configuration where you need to tell your port and the server name, username, password. For MongoDB, of course, it's a big data concept and it's a NoSQL. For MongoDB, there are additional configurations that are required.
Okay, and in your personal experience, what do you think? Like the effort needed?
I have never used MongoDB. Like for Hybris development, I don't think MongoDB is ever used.
Okay.
Most of the time, it is either SQL Server or Oracle.
Okay, and just one more very practical query. Like most of the time, we use content management systems where we allow the business users to generate the content, and we use it as a banners or anything or a marketing material on the e-commerce site.
Yes.
So is it being how flexible is this with Java-based CMS like DaySeq or anything? So
Hybris has its own content management system. It supports everything. There is a separate cockpit in Hybris to manage your entire content. It is called as the WCMS cockpit, Web Content Management System. We will discuss this and we see more later.
Sure.
So it's their entire content management is provided by Hybris. Plus, it provides also integration with other content management. So let's say if you have a client as a requirement that I do not want to use the Hybris CMS, I want to use Adobe AEM, you can go ahead and use that. So integration with Adobe CQ5, Hybris has integrated since Hybris 5.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move ahead. So we talked about Hybris server. We even talked about the build framework, which is the Ant. Let's talk about the most important concept of Hybris called as accelerators. So what are accelerators? So we just touch base upon one point, that when we install Hybris, we get the Hybris platform. And Hybris platform is nothing but a set of extensions. Set of extensions are your modules. So when we develop any Java project, we create several modules in our Java project, right? Which does some individual task, and then it is basically for my modularization. So in Hybris, everything is an extension. And when we say Hybris platform is what you get when you install Hybris, it's basically a set of extension, a lot of extensions which you get when you install Hybris. But then if I want to build my platform, which is on top of the Hybris platform, then I need to consume these extensions and develop my site fresh out of it. So consider platform as a set of libraries. It's a big set of library. Now again, if I want to use this library, I need to develop something. I need to develop my own storefront, correct? Which will be my entire UI. Then I need to consume the classes, and then I need to develop my fresh site from the scratch. But then Hybris is telling, do not do that way. Of course, you can go ahead and do that way. You can install Hybris, and then every other extension you develop yourself and consume what is there in Hybris platform. But what is the faster way? Hybris tell use the accelerators. Accelerators are your ready to build in application already provided by Hybris, and it's not just one accelerator. There are a lot of accelerators which Hybris provides, and based upon your customer requirement, you select the accelerator which you want to use. So I have a B2C accelerator. There is a default one as well. There is also B2B accelerator. It is called as Power Tools. That is the name of the application which Hybris has given. For B2C, they have provided support for two types of product, apparel and electronics. There is also a telco accelerator. Telco accelerator is basically a more complex form of selling your electronic products. So this is more of subscriptions and bundling. Now when we say subscription and bundling, it comes from the fact that in US, if I want to buy a phone, you just don't buy a phone, you buy the phone along with the plan. It's not like India. So you get an iPhone with a Vodafone plan, and then the phone is very cheap, but then you need to enter into a 2-year contract with Vodafone. So that is basically subscription. That is how phone gets sells in countries like US and UK, unlike India. So that basically is telco accelerator. There is also a China accelerator. This is basically used to build Chinese stores. This is a very recent addition from Hybris. And the latest one which they have added is the financial, which I said like Hybris from Hybris 5.6 has added support for financial industry as well. So when I install the Hybris, what is the first step that I do? I get a set of customer requirements, and then based upon the customer requirements, I select the accelerator which I want to install. An accelerator is your whole running site. When I install the accelerator, let's say I go and pick up the B2C accelerator, I get a whole apparel running site. So I'll get the home page, I'll get the product listing page, I'll get all the default facets, I'll get a product detail page, the cart page will be ready for me, the checkout pages will be there. Entire thing will be there for me. And then what I will do, I'll customize the accelerator instead of developing from scratch. Because any client who is picking up Hybris to build their e-commerce site will always have a product listing page. They'll always have a cart page. They'll always have a checkout page. Right? If I'm building something for a B2B client, then I'll pick up the Power Tool accelerator. It's clear the concept of accelerator, and this is where Hybris differentiates itself from other platforms. It provides you a jump start of your application and it reduces your development time to a lot of extent. Because you are not developing anything from scratch, you are taking an accelerator and then you are customizing parts of accelerators. It makes sense?
Yeah, and we can develop our own accelerator as well, right?
No, accelerator you cannot develop your own, right? Because accelerator is a concept of Hybris. This Hybris is providing you. You will develop your own site, so you can still go ahead and tell that I do not want to use the accelerator, I'll still go and do a scratch development. But then, why will you do that?
That is majoritarily in B2B sites, like we have to have bulk order, bulk address, bulk shipment, like that.
Correct. So in this B2B accelerator, which is the power tool, bulk order is supported. It's there. So this is your totally developed sites. When you install the accelerator, you get a full working site. You will have everything from the home page to product listing to product detail page. You will have the cart page, everything you will have. But then the client will say, okay, in accelerator, my product detail page is looking like this, but I do not want to do like this. I want to do this thing. I do not want this thing. Then you have to customize. But then that is still faster rather than developing it from scratch.
Okay, so now one small query, Nitin. Okay. Sorry if I am prolonging. Okay. See, now if I look at a typical e-commerce site, what do we have? Home page, registration, product listing, then product details, then you have your payment.
You also have a cart page, checkout page.
Yeah, a cart and checkout, like as a part of your product selection, then you create a cart, then you make a checkout, then you submit to create an order.
Correct.
Okay, so now if you look at accelerator, so is the PLP, PDP payment or accelerator equivalent?
Accelerator is your whole site. It's a complete application.
Okay.
Which will have everything. So it's a working site altogether. So when you install the accelerator, you can go to a URL localhost : this, and my site is this. It will present your home page. It will present your product listing page. You can add to cart. You can do a checkout. Everything.
So basically, is an accelerator a storefront?
Yes, it is a storefront.
Okay, fine.
Everything is there for you. But there are several variants. It's not just one accelerator. There is a B2C, there is a B2B, there is a telco, there is also China accelerator, there is also financial accelerator.
Okay.
Based upon your client, you select the accelerator. Every accelerator will have its own features. It's clear the concept of accelerator?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's discuss about how do we generate the accelerator. So Hybris provides an AND target by the name of module gen. So if I say AND module gen, this will run a whole set of instructions which will guide me which accelerator to select and where the accelerator should be configured. So when I run AND module gen, it will generate 7 extensions for me. Those 7 extensions are your core extension. Then you will have a storefront extension. You will have a facade extension. You will have a test extension. There is a fulfillment extension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is initial data, and one is the cockpit. So when you generate the accelerator, you specify your application name and you specify the name of your accelerator. Whatever name you specify, it will append these words according to you. So let's say you specify my site, then it will be my site core, my site storefront, my site facade, my site test, my site fulfillment extension, my site initial data, and my site cockpit. So these 7 extensions Hybris will generate for you, and these 7 extensions are what comprises your entire web application. What you will do, once the 7 extensions are generated, you will customize these extensions based upon the client requirements. Right? So let's understand a brief about each of these extensions. Does everybody understand the concept of extension now? What is an extension in Hybris? So an extension is basically a module which carry out its own responsibility, and then it can be dependent on other modules as well. So like when we say storefront extension, this is your main extension which displays your JSP pages. So it will have all your JSP content. It will have all your JSP. It will have controller classes. It will have CSS. It will have JS files. When we say core is your services. This is where you will write your main business logic. Facade will in turn call the services. So from controller you will call the facade, and facade will call different services. So it's based upon facade design pattern. Test is your JUnit test.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Just to know, what is the use of having facade design pattern? Why can't we call?
What is the usage of having facade design pattern? That's what you are telling, right?
Yeah. Why can't we call from controller that?
Yeah. So if you see why we should not, can anybody go on mute? There is a lot of background noise. Yeah. So what happens? Let's say I want to display all the orders of a user. Right? Now if you are well versed with Spring MVC, what will happen is your URL pattern will be mapped to a controller in the storefront. So it will go to storefront, and then it has to fetch all the orders of the user. Now if I want to fetch all the order of the user, I will first need a user service, because I need to know what is a user, correct? I still need to know my account service. I will still query my site service. So there are several services which I'll invoke. And when we say services, is the services that interacts with database and the models. Models are nothing but your POJO classes, which we discussed in the first slide. It's based upon the ORM framework. So it is the services that fetches your entire thing from the database, right? But then facade will return to the controller what is required to be displayed on the front end. Because a model will have 100 attributes, but then I do not want to display all the 100 attributes. I only want the 20 attributes. So why to call directly from the controller? So if I have a facade which performs a specific action, it becomes a reusable component which returns a specific data to the controller and not everything. Is it making sense?
But the thing is, you can cache your index. You can do it. Not like it goes to the database all the time.
Sorry.
You can cache your entities. I mean, why can't we can use it? I mean, this is entity level caching that you can impose on all your entities basically. Like if you talk about user or something.
Hello.
Correct. You can still cache it, and Hybris out of the box supports caching as well. But then, if you actually look at how Hybris work, you will understand why facade is so important. So if we go to the controller, you cannot invoke n number of services from the controller. Your code will become very buggy. And then you from specific services, you want specific data to be played, correct? So you need an intermediate layer which will handle this thing. Else your controller code will become so complex, you will not able to debug it properly. And facade returns a specific set of DTO to the controller, because in my front end I am not displaying each and everything. So if I remove facade from here, and if I directly call from controller to the services, my controller will become so heavy, it will call 10 different services, then it will call different classes to filter that data which needs to be returned to the front end. So facade becomes very important, and when you see the later chapters in Hybris, you will understand like facade also exposes a lot of converters and populators, which becomes very easy to use. And that is the main advantage of using facade design pattern. Is it making sense? I think it will be still confusing, but when we discuss later more about storefront and more about when we see the code base of each and every extension, you will realize that why facade is so important. Is it clear to you?
Yeah, please go on. Thank you.
Okay. I think we already discussed about Hybris server, and then we have discussed about the module gen. We have discussed about extension as well. Now there is also a specific target in Ant, which is called as Ant XGen. So when we said like we will always use the accelerator, and then we will customize the Hybris accelerator to suit the customer requirement. But then it generates only this 7 extension. Now let's say I have a requirement where I want to also write some web services for my client, and web service extension is not provided when you do a module gen. So what you do, you create a new extension in Hybris. How can we create a new extension? Is by this command ant xgen. So ant xgen, when you say ant, when you run ant xgen, it will ask you for the extension name, and then it will also ask you a template. Template is nothing but it gives your extension a particular nature. So if you want a web service nature for your extension, you will say go and select the web service template. You will see the different templates that are there later on when we run ant xgen. So this is for creating a new extension. The module gen. Let's discuss about the several property files that are used by Hybris. So we said like when we install Hybris, we get the Hybris platform which has a lot of extension, and then you do a module gen also, then plus you will develop your own extension. But then I do not want to use all the extensions in my project, right? Let's say my project does not have any functionality for coupons. For coupon, there is a separate extension in Hybris called as voucher. Or my site does not have any requirement for personalization. For personalization, there is an extension by the name of BTG. Or I am developing a B2B site which does not have any integration with the payment gateway. For payment, there is a separate extension called as payment. So if I don't want these extensions, I do not want to build, and I do not want to be in my EAR because it's only going to make it heavy, and at the end of the day it's not going to use. So at the end of the day, we are telling like we need to tell Hybris what all extensions should be used when I build my application. There is a file in Hybris by the name of local extension.xml file. This is the file where you specify what extensions are required for my project. You specify your extension name over here. Only those extensions which are specified in this file will be built, and not the others. So if I do not want voucher, I will not include in my local extension.file. It will not be built because I don't need it. So I only take those extensions which are required and then I build it. There is also an extension specific configuration file. Extension specific configuration file, the name is extension info.xml. This you will find in each of the extension. This is a global file. This is only one. Extension info you will find in each of the extension. So let's say your application needs 20 extension. All the 20 extension will have one of its own file called as the extension info.xml file. This is the file where you specify your extension dependency. It is nothing but the same way where you specify your Java dependency. When you build your project in Java, in Eclipse you go and specify your dependent extension. It is the same file. There is also a file called as local.property file. Now there is a file, there is again a global configuration file, similar to local extension.xml file. There is nothing but a key value pair. So you specify your key value.
Mr. Nitin, we are not. Hello, Mr. Nitin, we are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Just one.
Visible.
Yeah, can you see now? Hello?
Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Okay. So local extension, everybody was clear, right? It is the global file where you specify what all extensions are required by your website, and then only those extensions which are specified in local extension will be built. Extension specific configuration is the extension info.xml file where you specify your extension dependency, and this file will be there for each extension. The global configuration file is the local.property file, which is a key value pair. So this is just like your any property file which you use in your Java application, but there is a global file, and even there is a local configuration which is there in each extension. It is called as project.properties file. But this is an extension specific configuration. This is your global configuration. Most of the time you will use local.property file because your configuration will be all global. It won't be a very extension specific configuration. So these are the property file which are used by Hybris. Okay, I think I am done with the short introductory on Hybris and the key concepts of Hybris. If anybody has any specific question, you can ask me.
Yeah, hi Nitin.
Yeah.
This is Kiran.
Yeah, tell me.
Thanks for your introduction and everything. Okay, I would like to know about the course curriculum, exactly what it will be. And apart from that, so what will be teaching exactly? Hybris technical or Hybris functional? And what are the prerequisites for this course? Okay, actually I'm from SAP background. I don't have any Java knowledge. Will it be fine for me, or how it is? And what are the prerequisites for Hybris and for the present course? And what you are talking means going to give it on Hybris technical or pure or Hybris functional also?
Yeah, so this training is more of a technical, but then we will also cover some of the functional aspects like how to use the different cockpits and what are the how to map the business requirements with the Hybris requirement. Those things also we will touch base upon, but majority this is a technical training. Regarding the prerequisite, I think Java knowledge is mandatory, because without Java, are you going to do development in Hybris, or you want a business overview of the?
Majorly into business overview, I would like to, but you suggest me how it would be. Will it be fine without development also, or how to completely go into Hybris?
I mean, for development, if you want to go to Hybris, you have to learn Java. There is no other way out.
Okay. In
Ideally,
Java,
you should also have. Yeah.
In Java, till what part we need to learn for this? Core Java or Spring something, right?
I think Java, you need to learn everything in Java.
Okay.
I mean, you do not need to learn the advanced concept of Java like applet and AWT programming, but then the core Java part you should be familiar with it.
Okay. Apart from Core Java, any other thing?
No. Core Java, if you know Core Java, then you need to have a little bit understanding of Spring. So I would not say you get a complete well-versed with Spring, but then at least what is a dependency injection in Spring, what is Spring MVC, what is Spring security. If you get a basic knowledge of it, then also it is fine. But yeah, Java is mandatory.
Okay, so Java, how familiar we should be? We should be very good at that, or it would be even a mediocre Java professional is enough.
I think you need to be good with Java.
Okay, okay. So this course
Because
curriculum is all
yeah,
about
go
Hybris
ahead.
technical, right? Basically.
This is technical, but we will also discuss about the functional aspect. As I said, we will discuss about cockpits. We will also discuss about more about accelerators. We will see how the accelerator is generated. We will also
Okay,
touch base upon how to match customer requirements with accelerator.
okay,
So all those things we will have to. But if you're talking from a development perspective, like you want to go ahead and do development in Hybris, strong knowledge of Java is required
okay.
because it's all Java. Hybris is totally built on Java.
Yeah. Now Hybris is acquired by this SAP, right?
Yes, yes.
The e-commerce part which you are telling that the site development and everything. And what about the marketing component in the e-commerce? That is also going to be replaced with marketing.
Marketing, I don't think there is any marketing. So it has personalization. So segmentation and targeting is provided in the CMS cockpit of Hybris.
Okay, okay,
That is the only thing it has. But other than thing, I think not something like an what exact target provides or some of the email marketing, campaign management. All those things are not there. Those has to be integrated with Hybris because those things are for them. There are specific products, right? Again, but personalization, segmentation, and targeting, it's all there in Hybris.
fine. And one more thing, Nitin, for a Hybris certification,
Right.
there are different certifications. One is for development, one is for business analyst, that is for functional kind, right?
Yes.
And one is
Yes.
Hybris integration thing is also there.
System administrator.
System administrator. What is that system administrator will be? What will be?
System administrator is your infrastructure setting. So when you are setting up Hybris, how to set up the clustered environment, how to configure the cache, all those things are part of system administrator.
Okay. So will you be dealing with that work also?
System administrator, no. I don't think we'll be dealing with system administrator.
Okay. So what is the prerequisite for the system administration?
Prerequisite for system administrator, you need to be well versed with infrastructure knowledge. You need to know how to set up the servers, how to do cluster configuration, all those things.
Okay. Okay. So for this Hybris technical certification or functional certification,
Yes.
do you give support for that? What is the prerequisite to do the certification? We need to have any experience hands-on with that, or directly after the completion of the course we can appear for the certification. How is it?
So for certification, there is no prerequisite. You just can sign up for the certification, then you can purchase the voucher from Hybris, and then you can go to the Pearson View Center and appear for certification.
So they won't ask for any hands-on experience, right?
No, they won't ask for any experience.
Okay, directly once the training is done, I can go for that, right?
Yeah, you can go. But then again, if you're going, you should be you just well verse yourself with each and every concept of certification.
Okay, so you're giving, are you going to give any support for that certification support?
Yeah, I'll provide you the certification support.
Like support in the sense giving sample questions.
I can provide you with the material that you need to run, that you need to read through for giving certification.
Okay, like one HY200 is there, right? For business analyst, this one. For application development also one more is
For
there.
development, there are two certifications, core and commerce.
Okay.
For business analyst, there is one certification. System administrator, I am not sure whether there is any certification or not.
Okay.
But core and commerce, I can definitely help you with the certification. I am also a certified associate, so I have given both the certifications.
You done with development certification and integration or what?
Yes. Yeah. I am core and commerce certified. But as per the recent development with Hybris, they are going to merge core and commerce into one exam now.
Okay.
So at present, there are two exams, one for core and one for commerce. You need to appear separately for them. I still don't remember the cost. I think it's around $300
Okay.
for one certification.
Okay.
But they are going to merge both into one exam soon.
Okay.
I don't know when it is going to happen. They are telling from the past 3 months. It has not yet happened.
Okay. So, are you in hardcore Hybris professional from earlier initial stage, or are you into SAP early? How you moved to SAP Hybris?
So all my life I have been on Java development,
Okay.
and Hybris I'm there for the past 3.5 years. Before that
Before
I
that-
was 1 year on ATG.
Okay. How many years in Java?
All in Java, 13 years all in Java,
Oh,
12 years
very
all in
good.
Java.
Okay. I think now what is Hybris is a market hit product for e-commerce, and after SAP acquiring it, they were more into this marketing of this Hybris product, right?
Yes, they are.
Now we are seeing more openings of this SAP Hybris. Of course,
Yes.
SAP is there. Now it is more Hybris there.
Yes, it is. At present, it's in the Gartner first quadrant. So ATG, Hybris, and WCS, three products are there. But I think ATG and WCS are degrowing. Hybris is the most growing. They both are losing market share, and they have not even come out with even better releases of late. ATG, I think after ATG 13, I don't think they have come up with a new version.
Okay.
And as I said, ATG, the most drawback of ATG, it has its own proprietary library, right? It's not like a very open source, so it's not based upon Spring or anything. They have their own set of libraries. It's very difficult to do development in ATG. And they do not have accelerator as well. They only have one reference store called as CRS, which is the customer reference store, and that is also pathetic. Plus the content management, what ATG provides, it's not as good as Hybris. So it's lacking from every angle.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So ATG at least I can compare, and even WCS of late, I don't think it is ever getting used.
Okay.
No, but Nitin, based on my experience with respect to e-commerce in the last 6 years, so still ATG and WCS are drawing a lot of clients because of ATG being Oracle actually. So most of the enterprise architect, if they were given an opportunity for commerce, they go with the same family of softwares.
So I'll
Licensing
give you a
process.
background. See, ATG is the original e-commerce product, and it has come much before than Hybris. So still you will find a lot of projects in ATG which are developed, long time back. So it cannot go away right away, right? If Walmart has developed something on ATG, they cannot just go and decide and replace everything of ATG with Hybris. So it's not going to go away. What
Exactly.
I'm telling
So
is,
that's
yeah.
So even like you have Tesco. So Tesco is also on ATG only.
Yeah, I know that.
But even with ATG, my experience is also like that. It has a very steep learning curve. Okay, so and it's very fat actually.
Yeah.
So both from our enterprise architecture views, like development view, deployment view, or doing customization. So it eats a lot of code.
Correct. It is.
Even though they say
and
it's
even
on
if you look at the BCC which is there in ATG, the business content management, that is also not good, right? It has so much of bugs. Most of the time the deployment fails and you have to create a project, then it does the versioning.
But BCC is your command control, right? Like it's like
BCC is your
admin.
business content.
There's
If
a
you want to
command
modify
control, which is admin module of ATG.
Sorry?
Okay, there command control, like it's the admin part of your ATG, like just like your storefront you have in England. And then you have
but it is mainly used by the business users to modify the content on the site, right? So let's say there is a product which is shown, I want to modify the price, then I log into BCC, I create a project, then I modify the product price, and then I go and deploy the project, right? There is how it works in Hybris.
No, it has the inventory, right? Like it consumes the XML inventory, that is your catalogs.
Yeah, but BCC is used by business users. It is not for developers.
No. That is like your Hybris content, Hybris admins is there, right? HBS or something.
Hybris has a lot of cockpits. So Hybris has different cockpits for different set of users. But what I'm telling is, if I want to modify a content, it is much more pathetic and it is much more buggy than what is there in Hybris.
No, I
Like I have
Hybris
done
is a later version for Java, basically proprietary.
Yeah. That is the main advantage with Hybris. Even if I want to do a development, some company wants to start a development, they can still go and hire some Java and good Spring candidates. They can be very well versed with Hybris.
Okay,
It's easy to learn.
One more query I had, like recent version of Hybris, that is 5.0 and above.
Mm-hmm.
Their front end for the storefront is not a typical HTML5. Okay, it is on a ZCOS framework actually.
ZCOS?
ZCOS, that is ZXML.
No. So the storefront is not on ZK. The ZK is used for your back office app development, not for storefront.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Storefront, in fact, after 5.4, they have even added support for intuitive UI and responsive. So it provides support for your view in mobile and tablet as well. So it is all HTML5, CSS3 now.
Okay, so only the admin, that is the Hybris management console, what you call HMC, that is ZCOS.
Yeah, that uses Zul. It is not ZCOS, it is called as ZK framework.
Okay.
And even HMC, Hybris is telling they are going to remove. Everything will be going to be replaced with Cockpit Next Generation, also called as Hybris Back Office.
Okay, so we understood the platform, we understood the accelerator, then we understood the extension. Now, what is Cockpit actually?
Cockpit is used by business users. So there are several cockpits in Hybris. So if I want to modify some content on my site, then I will use. So let's say I want to modify the product content, then I'll use the product cockpit. If I want to modify some page content, then I can use the CMS cockpit.
So is this a developer used module?
No. It is a business user. It is used for business user. But again, HMC is used by developer. So HMC is your mega cockpit. It is like, it has functionalities of, you can modify product, you can modify content, you can create validation rules, which are there in different cockpits. You can do everything from HMC.
Okay.
So even though HMC is used by both developers and business users, but it is more for the developers rather than the business users. So in a business user, you will have, yeah, cockpit is for business user. Cockpit is like the product cockpit or the CMS cockpit, report cockpit, admin cockpit. So in a given organization, you'll find different set of users managing product, different set of users managing content. So everybody will have a separate login, and then they will go and log in to the respective cockpit and modify and do their task.
So do you call Cockpit as a subsystem inside Hybris or an application inside Hybris?
Yeah, it's a separate web application which Hybris has provided.
Okay.
Hi, Nitin, this is Rajiv. I have a specific requirement of Data Hub and OMS.
Yeah. Data Hub and OMS, I don't think we are going to discuss in this thing, because Data Hub and OMS are separate trainings from Hybris.
Will you be able to provide me that, because I have that specific requirement. I already work in Hybris, and I'm aware of core and commerce. I need Data Hub and Hybris OMS.
No, Data Hub is a specific training. So even I have not worked much on Data Hub, so I cannot provide training on Data Hub.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Nitin, this is Anand here.
Yeah.
And Nitin, actually, I'm taking care of that Asia Pacific e-commerce, and now client is asking to implement in the Hybris. So what is the landscape for this, and what is the team size it's required for that?
So team size and all, it will depend upon the client requirement, right? So based upon the requirement, you will construct the team. So you need to map each of your client requirement with accelerator, and then you have to do an estimation, then resource planning, correct, and then you will come up with the team size, correct.
Because it is a B2B business which I'm taking care of that, and it is like EMEA November to December it will be going to live for in SAP, but we need to convert it in on the Hybris. So just they are asking that what landscape and the resources skills it's required. So I need to.
Resources skill, I think you need Java resources with some background on Spring.
Okay.
So that is the resource thing. Some good Java resources who have very strong knowledge of core Java, and then even a little bit understanding of Spring and Spring MVC will do. But team size, it will all again depend upon complete estimation and all those things.
So as of now, they are asking around 10 to 15 resources, but I'm not sure it could be like extend more than that, which is the requirement they are asking. But just I thought I will share with you, and I will have some tentative knowledge on that.
Yeah. So for that, I mean, detailed requirement analysis and estimation has to be done, right, for the team size.
Okay, thanks, Nitin.
Nitin?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
You're working for last 3 years in this Hybris, right? So as a Hybris, you're working as Hybris core technical consultant and as a might be technical architect. So I'd like to know whether the last 3 years, whenever you're working, you see any Hybris particular functional consultant. His job is only functional part, something like that.
Functional part, it can't be a Hybris functional consultant. It has to be like an e-commerce consultant.
Okay, so e-commerce functional consultant. Okay.
Yeah. So then they need to have this entire knowledge of Hybris, ATG, and all those things, entire content management.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Just to know that, okay. And as you said, just to start with, first we should be aware of the core Java. Then we can start with this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a prerequisite and a mandatory thing. So it is good to be, without learning core Java, we shouldn't start with this. That is what I understood from you.
Yeah. Without core Java, it will be very difficult to work on Hybris.
Okay.
I mean, you can still have the functional understanding. Functional understanding, it won't be difficult. I mean, just to understand what is Hybris, how it works, what are cockpits. But if you want to do actual development, you will have to have a knowledge of core Java.
Okay, yeah, fine. And even you they teach core Java also with this? So,
core Java.
This course is about Hybris only. So I'm asking you in general. Apart from this, you can take core Java session also.
Yeah, I can take, but then again, it has to be managed separately, not
managed
along
separately.
with
That is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
But once that is done, then only you can go for this. That is what you mean, right?
Yeah, if you want to do development.
Yes, to do development. Okay. Fine, Nitin. Okay, thanks for your details and information. It is very much useful and helpful for us. Okay.
Yeah.
From my end, it is over. You can check with some other people. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks everybody. I think we can end the session.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. Thanks for.
Thank you, Nitin.
We'll get in touch with you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
Yeah.